Hey guys, so my case study 3 is on the picture book Thank You, Mr. Falker by Patricia Polacco. And this book is about a young girl with dyslexia that has a love for reading but has a lot of trouble with it until about third grade when she actually finds out that she has this learning disability. And she gets bullied a lot all the way through until she goes to third grade. She meets Mr. Falker, and he's the first teacher that actually gives her strategies and works with her to kind of move past this disability and definitely to improve her reading skills. So what's actually really cool about this book too is that when the book ends, you actually find out that this little girl is Patricia Polacco. So it's about her own experiences, which is really kind of cool. But to cross-reference the text that I read with the true characteristics, dyslexia traits usually involve difficulty reading due to problems identifying speech sounds and learning how they relate to letters and words, which is decoding. And dyslexia affects areas of the brain that process language. So part of the text here kind of explains that, like, in math class and stuff, the blocks look kind of fuzzy and wobbly. So, like, when they, like, look at the book and everything, like, she has trouble trying to process, like, what's going on and everything. So, like, right here, they'll line the numbers up before you add them, and the numbers look like a stack of blocks, wobbly and ready to fall. She just knew she was dumb, which she obviously wasn't. She was dealing with a learning disability that she just didn't know she had at the time, which kind of, like, leads to the bullying and everything, which is another area that emotional support plays a huge role in students with dyslexia, because this disability that they struggle with may lead to low self-esteem and some behavioral problems, which she does experience a lot of bullying, and of course that lowers her self-esteem, and she talks about that a little bit throughout this. But when she moves, that's when she actually gets a better handle, and Mr. Falker, who's depicted here, he starts doing some exercises with her, which you can see in this illustration here, where he's actually yelling numbers and letters to her like a game, and she's writing them on the chalkboard in water from the sponge, which is really kind of cool. And that kind of explains a little bit about, like, her inability to sound out pronunciation of an unfamiliar word and difficulty seeing or hearing similarities and differences in different letters and words, which I think they did a really nice job with here. And there's a lot of other things like this that he does, and it even explains here that, like, when he figures out that she has this disability, and he helps her with her reading, and there's a bunch of, like, other stuff with a different teacher that helps her, and she ends up reading a full sentence, and it's a big thing for her. But I honestly think that this book could be taught in, like, a third or fourth grade classroom in a cross-disciplinary way, where maybe the students would, like, make a drawing or a comic strip about what an accepting classroom looks like, because part of her struggle here is that she's severely bullied, and it's not just around her disability, it's also around, like, just her in general. Like, they call her ugly and stuff, which isn't okay whatsoever. But I think if you taught it in a way where it's acceptance of people with disabilities, but also acceptance of anybody in your classroom with a disability or not, that you could really turn this into, like, an anti-bullying unit, which I think would be really, really good. And I think this is really helpful to have in a classroom where a student can see someone else that has a learning disability and be able to relate to that and understand that they can overcome it. So I really like this.